at lunch.
You are looking live.
Live at lunch. Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
What the hell's going on out here?
Now, here's Jimmy Ott and Charles Hannegriff.
For some reason or another, you sound a little taller on radio.
Is it live? Is it live? Is it live?
From Sammy's Grill on Perkins near Airline here in Prairieville, welcome to the Thursday edition of Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Charles Hannegriff, Jimmy Ott, Max Gotro, Jordan Kinch's back in the studio, Colucci with us today, Henry Hayes with us today, PGA Championship going on today, LSU baseball today, NFL schedules out today. So we got plenty to do. Jimmy, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. How about you?
We had a great night last night.
It was kind of cool.
Max and I were at
even I'm dialed into this pop culture.
John Foster's concert parade, road parade, boat parade / concert was a really unique and organic event last night down in Plaquemine. We had a great time. It was jam-packed, terrific crowd, really enthusiastic crowd. The weather was terrific. It got a little bit cooler as the sun was going down. The reaction from John Foster was overwhelming.
Should be.
It
was well done, man.
It was. I think it was the mayor of Plaquemine said we want this to be the best day of his life, and I can't imagine it wasn't one of them. Because when he came down on the boat, and I showed you the video, what we took, the reaction.
Boat escort is not bad to show to get transportation to your pop-up concert. No, that's as strong as it gets.
I don't know how many people were there. It was probably somewhere around 10,000. That's just a guess. He performed. He was emotional when he did the song "Tell the Angel I Love Her" about his friends that passed, and he closed with "Calling Baton Rouge." It was really well done, and my wife grew up on the West Side, so she knew a ton of people. She wanted to go to this. She knew a ton of people there. It's a very close-knit thing. Addis is about the size of Franklin. Okay, so I get the small town part of it. I just eat that up. That speaks to me from where I grew up. So just enjoyed the heck out of that event last night, and good luck to him Sunday in the finals. I know we don't do pop culture and stuff around here, but this is different. Just wanted to mention that. Good luck to him because yesterday was really, really cool.
Yesterday, I don't know how it's going to come off at the others. I'm sure it's going to be really good at their hometown deal as well. But this kid, they got a lot of good content to edit and come off. Hey, take that plus 250 right now, bro.
Okay.
Take that plus 250 right now. Homegirl, she can't win it. It's between him and a PE teacher from Meridian. Look, bro.
Jamal, yeah.
No. Take the plus 250.
Max found some offshore
odds. It's a pick. Come on, man.
I'll take him right now. I thought he was great. So good luck to John Foster on American Idol on.
He'll be fine.
Yeah, on Sunday night. And the other thing we said was. You remember when
Mickey Loomis showed up?
No.
Okay, good.
When the Saints played in the Super Bowl, LSU had a women's basketball game about an hour before kickoff, and so this is somebody from the flagship has to staff it, right? And nobody wanted to staff it because everybody wanted to watch the Super Bowl. So our GM at the time, who was from Ohio, staffed it. And on Monday, I said, "What was it like driving home out?" And we don't know who's throwing.
And it's not one of their top two.
And it's not one of their top two. So if you're a minus 700 favorite with TBA, you can imagine how big a favorite LSU is the next 2 days. I'm not going to say I thought of this yesterday because I didn't. But this is a strong move by Jay Johnson to give you the best chance to take two and keep your schedule at the same time. You would have been a bigger favorite tonight with Anderson than minus 700, but you're 1,000 or better tomorrow with him, and just as much, if not more, on Saturday with Anthony Ianson, who's maybe the hottest doggone pitcher going.
I think that's his thought more than just to maintaining these guys for, looking toward the regional and super regional that we're going to pitch on Friday and Saturday then. So I'm going to pitch him, try and
It works either way.
Keep them.
It works either way. He's thrown Anderson on Thursdays before, after he had thrown on Fridays, so it wouldn't be unprecedented. But it works either way.
I think it's such a big advantage, Charlie, that he's more looking toward the future.
Yeah, absolutely.
Looking past this weekend.
Yep.
And just he thinks that keeping these guys as close. I mean, do I want them? I could throw them. They're rested, but do I want 9 days layoff?
Right.
Looking to the more, to region. You got to be looking at region. We've seen his approach in the SEC tournament. He doesn't care, and you know what?
Right.
It's kind of, I'm fine with that. If your spot's solidified, But maintain. I think that's prioritized here. If it falls this way, where it gives him a better chance to take 2 of 3. That's fine, too, but I think that's secondary.
It's a win-win. And then the third thing is the nightmare scenario for LSU is if they get into the third game of a super regional and their top 4 guys are used up, somebody's got to start. And we'll see who LSU throws out there tonight. I'm sure it'll be some combination of Connor Ware, Jaden Newt, Chase Shores, et cetera, and we'll see. But if they do well, it makes you feel a little bit better moving forward if you do get into a game 3. I would also expect that they would use Zach Cowan tonight with a lead in the late innings. I mean, somebody asked this morning, would you start him? I said no, because I want him to – I'm not going to use him without a lead. But in game 3 of a super regional, if he hadn't pitched in the first 2 games, damn right I'd use him as a starting pitcher, even though he's been out of the bullpen all year. So different teams. Auburn.
Keep in mind that just some players, whether it's coming off the bench, are just more comfortable. Some pitchers are just more comfortable coming out of the pen. So I'm not saying that he can't start and be just as effective, but sometimes there's a little bit of a comfort zone element.
And he was the Friday night starter for Wofford all of last year, so he's done that.
Wofford.
Use him well, but he's been a starting pitcher. Okay?
I understand.
So
it's just
he's fine wherever they decide to use him. It's just where do you want to get the most
you
effect
say that.
out
That's
of
not
him?
a given.
I know they've been reluctant to use him without a lead. So,
well, there's a reason for that.
Sure.
Yeah.
He's been one of their best. So,
and usually when you got a guy, when you want to do that, part of it is he attacks his own. He doesn't. He's not a guy that's going to give free passes when you protect it, because that's the worst thing you want.
Right.
It's an instant rally because you can't. You give him free passes.
Auburn, who is in line for a top 8 national seed, is holding their ace Sam Dutton tonight, but Ole Miss is not holding Hunter Elliott tonight. Huh?
They held him last week. He didn't throw game 1
because it was on Thursday.
Okay,
right,
well,
right. Yeah, so, but this time he threw on Friday.
Well, this is on Thursday.
It is. So,
so he didn't throw last Thursday.
That's right. They threw him in the first game of that doubleheader. They did.
Yeah.
They're holding Dutton. Hunter Elliott is going for Ole Miss tonight.
Did he start Thursday last week?
Yes, he has been.
What they didn't have a Thursday.
No, he started on Friday of last week. Tennessee is holding Liam Doyle, but Arkansas is not holding Zach Root. So that game, which I thought Tennessee with Liam Doyle, it would be the only place in America that he would be a small underdog. He was a small favorite in Baton Rouge. They're holding him for tomorrow, so I can't imagine Tennessee's not going to be favored in the game tomorrow night because he'll
on the road. That's okay. What are they tonight?
Max, what do you got on Arkansas, Tennessee? Best line.
Looking at it right now.
We were seeing yesterday.
Arkansas is minus 166.
Yeah.
At the Queen. So they could still be a favorite over there, and maybe not. I mean, that's a big shift, but he's a big. How much? Okay, Vitello now. Vitello has got to be second guessing himself. He's the guy. Arkansas is fine. That's going to continue. But does he see more of a lock win? Does he think he needs to avoid a sweep if he gets one that they can host?
I think that's an excellent point. But here's the thing. He's throwing his 2, Marcus Phillips, tonight. If he wanted to secure the series, I would have thrown Tegan Coons, who's their 3, and feed him up to Root tonight, and then throw Doyle and Phillips in games 2 and 3.
2 weeks from now, what you think he's going to do? You think he's going to hold his ace to the marble game? He should. no matter what they are. If they're 1-4, 2-3.
Yeah, I would hold Doyle. The question would be, do you throw Phillips?
Okay, well, this is the rotation he's going to have 2 weeks from now.
Could be, yeah.
I would say
because they're more likely to be a 2 seed than a host site. They got to win this series at Arkansas to be a host site.
You say that. We'll see.
If that would be 6 series in a row.
Okay, but even if you can't beat a 33-48 team, which you number 2, Tennessee. That's who you're going to play.
Yeah, that's right.
A 33-48.
Yeah.
I mean, and in that marble game against the 1,
right?
I need my hammer.
Yeah.
So this is, I mean.
No, you make a good point. I
wouldn't you do that? Of course you would. You're trying to win the regional. You're not trying to win one game.
Yeah, but I'm talking about this weekend.
I know, but he's setting it up, Charlie. He's sequencing his starters to try and keep them on some sort of equal 7 days so type of
and that works. I would probably play this a little bit differently to try to win this series and stay at home in the regional.
So you want to beat Zach Root with your best?
No, I want to put my worst against Zach Root, and then I want to throw my 1 and 2 on.
You're not going to take that guy for Tennessee against Root?
I would have thrown Doyle against him.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I would. If you're going to hold Doyle for Saturday, I'd throw my 3 tonight, and I'd throw my 2 on Saturday.
I know. 2 weeks from now, not this weekend.
Yeah. The Vanderbilt is holding J.D. Thompson for tomorrow, but Kentucky is not holding Nate Harris. Thompson has been fantastic at home for Vanderbilt, who is in line for a top 8 national seed. Kentucky did themselves a world of good with the sweep of Oklahoma last week, so they're in, and they're not going to host, so they're going to keep everything static. I really think Kentucky's best arm throws on Sundays, the Slim Reaper, Ben Cleaver, but Harris has been their Friday night guy for most of the season. And, Jimmy,
he's just better than most Sunday starters.
Yeah, and he's thrown the most innings. He's got the most strikeout.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny. Live from Sammy's Grill on Old Perkins near Airline Highway in Prairieville. On 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Let's bring in Henry Hayes talking NBA. Interesting night last night in the NBA as we continue. How about the Celtics, huh? Let's see if getting a little bit of a little nervousness for the Knicks and obnoxious fans. Henry, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. It's graduation season, Otter.
Oh, who we got? I mean, I can't keep up. Who's graduating from what level this week at the Hayes house?
Listen, EJ and Nathan, the same age. So
I understand.
3 years from now. And
that's my boy. That's my boy. Nathan's good. He is a fine young gentleman. Always love seeing Nathan.
Ethan Ott was my Kurt Rambis. Under the board, dirty work, maybe a screen set of my elbow in the ribs. Okay, he should have kept playing basketball. No, little H graduates tonight. In fact, in the Honors College at LSU, along with his buddy Parker King, who's listening. So
there you go.
Big bash tomorrow night at the house, and he's off to Baylor for the NBA July 8th.
Congratulations, man.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Good kid. And yes, the white worm should have kept playing basketball. So love dropping him off at the gym. You know, they have to go warm up 30 minutes before or whatever and say, all right, son, what do we remember? What, Dad? What do we say? I know, Dad. All basketball players are soft. All right, go do your thing. So
don't think that those seasons with the Baton Rouge Rams didn't salt my boy up a little.
Oh no, of course it was. He'll admit now that was kind of hard. Yeah. Okay. Well, gotta sacrifice short term to get where you want to get long term. This just in. But anyway, Henry, how about the Celtics' performance last night? Jaylen Brown was outstanding. White was really good. And how about? Man, Charlie, do you remember Cornette a lot? And I don't think he was just a big stiff. I thought he was a pretty good player when they were at Vanderbilt. I'm trying to jog my memory. I can't remember, but he's pretty good defensively this year, and he was really good. Just a little bit of doubt, maybe, in the Knicks' mind here.
Well, a couple things. So one, that's the DNA and the heart of a champion. There's a reason that those guys on that bench won the ring last year. A lot of pride. Obviously, when you have a guy that goes down like Tatum did, and they know, you're looking at a solid year with that injury, so they know what's coming. But having said all that, I mean, Brown said it in the postgame, Jimmy, if they just guard, they're going to have a chance. And they guarded last night. And again, you have a lot of championship DNA on that bench. Jaylen Brown's plenty good enough to win you a game. And you got other guys, like you said, like Cornette, who's been in those practices and didn't play much, but gave him just enough to to get that W. And like you said, at this point, if you're the Celtics, you take it one game literally at a time, and you make the Knicks beat you, which they should. New York, shame on New York if they don't walk over, frankly, take Game 6, because you do not want to go to a Game 7 against the defending champs. But don't be fooled by one game. Jason Tatum means a lot to that team. Look, Kristaps was already not playing well throughout the playoffs, so are they going to get that again? I doubt it. Brown played really, really well, but it doesn't surprise me because, like I've said before on your show, you have to take the crown off the King's head, and that's what the Knicks are trying to do.
But we are, how compromised was that crown with their path last year? Because, that was as easy of a path that we've seen in the NBA playoffs.
Oh, you had injuries everywhere, and they were gifted the route, which, hey, man, it happens, and you take it, and they'll never take that ring back from them. But, the road was paved last year for sure.
Where do you stand on Tatum? Because, man, they just were killing him in some games, and then the game he gets hurt. I mean, what more can he do? And it wasn't just the 42 points. It was some of the passes, the defense, just little things like he doesn't get anything in a box score, but a loose ball kind of rebound, he taps it to his guy. Just gets kind of all over the place. He could not have played any better, but, man, he draws a wide range of opinions.
Yeah, Tatum's interesting, Jimmy, because he's not interesting, right? I mean, on the one hand, he kind of has a little bit of a backlash because everybody knows his idol is Kobe Bryant. And ironically, life is imitating art. Kobe had the Achilles, and now Tatum will have to go through it. Kobe at a much later age, but everything Tatum does is centered around Kobe Bryant. And so I think early on in his career, it was like, okay, calm down. Nobody's Kobe. Relax, kid. However, look, he is the best player on that team. The stats he's starting to put up at age 26 can't be ignored in terms of, the great things he's doing. He's just kind of uninteresting. I mean, the thing about Jason Tatum is he has a son named Deuce, and that's about it, right? I'm a big international basketball guy, as you know, Jimmy, and I really found it interesting that, he got shut down on that roster this summer, and that's the best of the best playing against the world's best, and Tatum, for whatever reason, got a lot of DNPs. But look, at his age, he already has a ring. He'll be back from this. I just think he tends to be kind of a boring superstar, and that doesn't really have a lot of clicks, right? So he's a polarizing guy, but you can't take away what he's done so far at a pretty young age.
They shut down Halliburton too in the Olympics, and he's been a monster in these playoffs.
Yeah, he's very overrated. So, I mean, my goodness. Anyway, I could tell you what we'd be talking about right now if the Nuggets finished off Oklahoma City in Game 5, and they should have. They were in position, and all of a sudden start the fourth quarter with a 9-point lead. They become jump shoot happy, and come on, man, attack the rim, dude. Use a joker. I know he's a little tired, but damn, you got 12 minutes to go. We would have been talking about this is a regular season team that's not translating to the postseason. But instead, they got jump shot happy. They allowed OK City to finally heat up. And then when they did, it was a different game. And they blew it. Denver blew one in Game 5, huh, Henry?
Oh, no doubt. And look, guys, let's not forget, I don't want to call Denver, I'm not going to say they're Willie Mays in a Mets uniform in center field, but look, you got your coach fired. The GM's not coming back. And, look, Nikola Jokic is still Nikola Jokic. He's still the best player in the world, and I don't think it's really close. But, Jamal Murray's on the downside of his career. Michael Porter Jr., same. And they got a lot of money.
He's hurt, too.
Guys. Yeah, for sure. But, boy, having said all that, Jimmy, you're right. I mean, they had the game. And Oklahoma City is still my pick to win the whole thing. Now, that's interesting because it won't even be close. We've never had a team in the history of the league this young put the crown on their head. So still some work to do, but, boy, they're so talented. Yeah. And when SGA's locked in, he makes you make a tough decision, and he's got so many weapons around him. But, boy, Denver really choked. I mean, they had that game, and you're right. So now I expect the Thunder to close them out. We'll see if they can mature really quickly because Minnesota's waiting. Every day they get off their feet, they're waiting.
Well, SGA doesn't fit his age profile because in the three-point heavy era, I mean, he's a two-point guy. He is mid-range, create, kind of do this, get to the line. I mean, he does all of his work, or 95% of it, inside the arc. And sometimes he was having a hard time getting his shot off. And Joker was a complete headache. If you're wondering about who's impacting the game more with these two, MVP finalists, I mean, Joker was way more of a handful. But, it's just I don't know, man. That's a young team, and like you said, I mean, I'll give the young coach credit, Lil Adelman. All right, they're 12-2, and man, OKC looks like they're going to start this thing like 26-4 or something. Calls timeout, goes to zone. Man, boom. They cut that lead down to nothing, and then it was back and forth the whole way. So I got to give him a little credit, with some of the bench moves that he made early in that game as well.
Yeah, Jimmy, credit. It's subtle, but watch in these games. Watch how Chet Holmgren is guarding Jokic. What I see is I thought he'd get bodied because Jokic has got him by 80, 90 pounds. Holmgren's more than holding his own, and there's not much to him. He turns sideways, you can't see him.
Yes.
So, he's super long, obviously, but boy, I tell you what, you want to look a glimpse into the future and OKC being a problem. His game, as quickly as remember, he didn't play all last year, basically. So the way that he is quickly getting better and able to hold his own defensively with SGA, and they've got 831 first-rounders in the next 5 drafts, 2 this year. But boy, this team's going to be heard from for a long time.
Well, he doesn't trust his shot right now, though. He's a finisher, and he's doing really good at it, and he's tried to adapt his approach, but he is not pulling it from 3 right now, and that's okay if he's not feeling it. So, I mean, I thought a lot of his work was pretty damn good finishes, in that game. Are the Pacers improved?
Oh, there's no question. I think clearly, and again, I think I've said before, the Pacers are kind of like the armpit of the NBA. I mean, whether it's them or maybe Sacramento or Orlando, you just don't pay attention, right? Unless you're in Indiana. But boy, I tell you what, to Charlie's point about say what you will about Halliburton, but the guys come to play, and I think you got to take your hat for that coach as well and that staff for what they've been able to do, because there's no doubt about it. I mean, especially in that building, they're tough to beat.
Armpit of the NBA. Now, don't kill Max's hero McAfee now. With the armpit and and talking about McAfee and the wrestling.
It's a basketball heartland, man. It's just not a basketball. It's not a big market.
Yeah, and Wes Reynolds. No, he takes credit for that. All right, OKC is the favorite, and then there's a big drop off. But I'm sorry, they're vulnerable. The value in this thing is elsewhere. Give me another team that's got a shot to take home the trophy.
Well, assuming the Knicks do beat the Celtics, I just can't see the Knicks beating them in 7 games. Now, having said that, gosh, it's hard to it's kind of hard to imagine the Pacers in the NBA Finals this year. One of those two gonna be it. So, oh man, if you had to make me pick, Jimmy, I think it's Timberwolves.
Really?
I think the East has been weaker. If Ant-Man has his head on, well, they are a different team to deal with for sure. That's a big if, because his coach publicly called him out. In that Warriors series, he responded. They got the 4-1 win. But of the teams that are left, it's the T-Wolves. The Knicks there's too many problems to match up with OKC, and I don't like to match up with the Pacers either. So it'd have to be to get them to get to the NBA Finals.
There we go. There's the value. All right, Little H, if you're listening, you got your leverage on your dad. Don't let him come with some little cheap card tonight. Ring him up, baby. Let's go. Ring him up. Taking care of that honors degree. Congratulations, Henry. We'll talk to you next week.
Jimmy, look, I have one thing to say about that. We took him to French Market last night. The little rascal asked what the market price on the filet and the lobster special was. So he's already ready.
He only graduated once.
Go ahead. He's like Mincy. So there you go, ordering it. Thank you, Henry. We appreciate it. Don't forget about that Legacy Title. Chad Reynolds, Legacy Title for all your real estate closings. 296-0060, full-service title company servicing all of South Louisiana. Fast, friendly, professional services, which you get when you dial 296-0060. Chad Reynolds in Legacy Title, 296-0060. 660.
Live at Sammy's in Prairieville, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
It's time. It's now Colucci time. Dwayne Colucci is back to give his best picks on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Kaluch, how you doing, buddy?
Doing well, gentlemen. How's Baton Rouge today?
Baton Rouge is hot. You know, steamy.
I love it. Hey, I love the hot weather.
Yeah, hot, steamy. You know, I made some meatballs last night, so with some fresh pasta. So you know, I mean, trying to get right. You know, but anyway, when are you going to Del Mar this year? When's your dates?
I'm pretty sure it's the end of July, the first 2 weeks there in August.
There you go. Okay, all right.
Yeah, I'm ready to come. Got up already. Got my place. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, all right.
Well,
I'm coming back on the first Saturday in August. We might finally intersect. So I'm gonna have to hook up with you guys for sure. You going with your dad?
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. You know, family outing always. That's the family vacation, basically.
Not a
Saratoga for 20 years, now like 30 years at Del Mar. I'm getting old, but it's a great tradition.
Hey, boy, I tell you what, I got a little jealous watching Belmont at Saratoga last year, but boy, they're shoehorned in there, especially on that Saturday. Maybe the Sunday and the Thursday, Friday are a little bit more manageable, but I'm not going to be able to make it this year. But boy, it looks good. But what about the decision, by Sovereignty not to run in the Preakness on Saturday? What's your thoughts there? Is there any pressure, to try and do with the horse racing, go for the Triple Crown? How much is compromised because you're not running that mile and a half because the track at Saratoga is not set up for it? So it's kind of a little bit of that asterisk, or if it's not, just your thoughts on not running a Preakness, the Derby winner.
Yeah, it's kind of shocking, Jimmy, because of Godolphin, the ownership. You figure they would go for a Triple Crown. But you hit the nail on the head. It's got to be because they feel there would be an asterisk if you do win it, just because of the fact it's at Saratoga. But to run in Saratoga at June is no discredit. Even though it's only going to be 1.25 miles, it's still the classic distance. It's the Travers distance. And I was kind of shocked. Bill Mott, always the trainer, regardless, is going to say that it's for the well-being of the horse, which is great, but it sort of seems that now with the visa and all the PETA actions that these trainers are pre-programmed to be leery of going into the 5-week test of the Triple Crown. And, I never discredit Bill Mott. He's one of the legends, over 4,000 wins. But it does take away from the game. The biggest stage of the horse racing game and the Sport of Kings is the Triple Crown. And when you do have an opportunity, unless you go back to when Spenderbuck was offered like $2 million to run at Garden State Park in the Jersey Derby, you could understand they still ran on the same, course as the Triple Crown, and they were going for extra money. So, that was totally different circumstance. Here, it's going to be great. And, Saratoga is glorified. It's the best race meet in the United States when they run July, August, and partially into September. But, now you're trying to put it in the forefront in June, and people better get used to this, because I'm telling you right now, I was sick to my stomach to hear that in your neck of the woods, CBI is looking to possibly shut down the fairgrounds. I mean, what are we coming to now? You have Santa Anita on the brink of closing down. There's no Northern California racing whatsoever. There's no Chicago racing. I mean, Hawthorne is okay, but it's nothing like Arlington Park. And now, you had to put in place a ruling on Stronach's group where they have to a 7-year extension, basically, on Gulfstream Park. So I don't understand Mott's thinking if he thought there would be an asterisk, because someday, the Triple Crown might not even exist. They're going to remodel Pimlico. We'll see how that goes. But for now, another 2 or 3 years, you're going to have Pimlico under construction, and they're going to have to run at Laurel or Cologne, the Preakness. So, there's so many different scenarios and on the landscape. It's not good for the game or for handle, but it's the right thing to do if the horse needs that extra time and that extra period, Jimmy, to regroup. So,
and it's also
there's a catch. It's a 50-50.
It's also, I mean, it's easier to gamble with other people's chips as well. I mean,
Of course.
you
And
know,
you
if
know
the
how
horse.
much the horse is worth now, Jimmy. How much is the horse worth now? Because he won the Derby sovereignty. So you take the breeding into consideration, too, because, God forbid, he breaks down in the Preakness similar to Barbaro, then you're out millions and millions of dollars.
Oh, no, the breeding is everything. No, that's where all the money is when you get the qualifications of a Derby. There's no doubt. And when you see what their offspring do, if then they perform as well and you consider a sire, then boom, it goes that much further. But it's a guarantee of just how much you're going to get. Now, you win a Triple Crown, well, that drives the praise, but it's risk and reward, things like that. Charlie, you heard about this? But I thought the Fairgrounds was way past their more threatening times. And then when Churchill Downs came in and took over, they got the slot money as well over there. Dwayne, there might be some chatter, but the Fairgrounds is way better suited than it was, say, 20 years ago.
I haven't heard it from anybody that would know or serious. I've heard rumors, but those rumors have been going on since it burned down in '94 that they weren't going to rebuild it and all that stuff.
When Churchill Downs and into slots, it's you just look the better jockeys, the better trainers. They're just the quality of racing is going way up.
Right, of course, but Churchill Downs is basically now a real estate mogul. And what they're saying is this is a company, now listen to this, guys, made $2.5 billion last year, and they don't want to give any subsidiaries to Fairgrounds. Now, if they own it and they choose to shut it down and just turn it into real estate, this is what we're faced with in horse racing, and Churchill Downs is in control of that. They made $2.5 billion, and they don't want to help the Fairgrounds out. And like you said, I'm watching Mardi Gras. That place is packed. It's off the hook. I see it. So I agree with you.
The on-site attendance is not maybe what you might think it is. We've been there a lot, but it's just the quality of racing. I think there's going to be a pretty good pushback. This thing was the Fairgrounds was way more vulnerable. Like I said, 20, 25 years ago. It's the third oldest track in the country. Saratoga's number one, then Pimlico. Pimlico's way more in need of some sort of, reformation, and which they're doing. And they're going to have to push. They'll still be, even with the Derby horse not running in the Preakness, their attendance is going to be off the charts. The ratings in TV, where you get the money, that's going to hurt. That's going to take a hit. There's no doubt about that, not having a Derby.
I'd have three big questions. Number one, the stabling of all those horses in the wintertime. The trainers bring them in to train them. So the stabling rights, the slots go away if there's no racing. You can't have another casino license. And the third thing is Jazz Fest. Okay, if you don't have racing, who's going to keep up the facility? Jazz Fest is a gigantic.
Jazz Fest is a monster. It's a 2 weekends right after. It's the last weekend of April, first weekend of May. It's the second largest music festival in the world behind Sunsplash in Jamaica, and it is just grown. It's a monster. It is a monster, and it's totally different but it is the same facility that they use at the Fairgrounds. So once the season is over, and I just can't tell you, we used to dream about, all the big name, stables those guys never came into the Fairgrounds back in the day. The quality of racing, the respect of the racing has come a long way. No, the horse tracks are vulnerable.
Obviously, Jimmy, Churchill doesn't care. What you're saying is all right. They could care less about the Jazz and Heritage Festival. You have to understand. They're
in partners
and gambling, operating construction. Yeah, but they have to buy out the facility then. Somebody from the end of the state has to buy out the facility. Look at the fine print. See, you guys are coming in a little green on this. You got to read. Listen to John Lindo. Listen to the Race Day Las Vegas show. We were talking about it for hours. This is a huge possibility that Fairgrounds is going to cease horse racing. I don't know about, the Jazz and Heritage Festival. I love it myself. My friends have played there. I'm friends with Warren Haynes, Government Mule, Allman Brothers, constantly there. Biggest festival in the United States. But, we're talking about horse racing. Horse racing will cease if Churchill does not fund it and does not operate a race meet. That's the whole key. And then, like Charlie said, you lose the slots, you lose basically everything. And this is happening. I'm telling you, Santa Anita soon is going to close.
So you tell me they're shutting down fairgrounds. You're going on the record today and say they're shutting down fairgrounds.
There's a possibility within the next 5 years that, yes, the fairgrounds can shut down. There is a huge possibility unless legislatures step in, just like they had to at Gulfstream. Belinda Stronach was running the Pegasus World Cup Invitational and was telling the crowd right on national TV that, well, horse racing doesn't really fit in this demographic and possibly, it's going to go away within a few years. And then state legislatures stepped in and started to, lean on her a little and continued this on with Tampa Bay Downs for the 7-year structure. But now once that goes away, Gulfstream had stopped racing. And that's basically a remodeled facility 20 times over the last 20 years, pouring money into that. Arlington Park was a brand-new facility.
Charlie,
they just ripped it down.
Charlie, correct me if I'm wrong. And Colucci's doing a great job of informing us, about the steam that's going on there. But to me, this sounds like, Churchill Downs is posturing for a better deal out the city or the state.
Yeah, and I understand what he's saying. He knows way more than we do about Churchill Downs' standpoint on this. I would tell you that the fairgrounds is a brick-and-mortar facility, has enormous economic value to New Orleans outside of the daily racing. So is there some deal to be made there? And, yes, they could very well be posturing.
They just lied, guys. Think about it. They just lied with Arlington Park. Oh, we're going to build the Bears' new facility there. That's where that's going. Where is it going? It's just dormant now. She's going to put up condos, houses, make billions of dollars. The rich keep getting richer as they destroy the horse racing game. And I hate it. I'll be the first guy there with, a flag of the fairgrounds supporting horse racing in New Orleans, in your area, because I love it.
Okay.
And you're right. It's now at its peak.
I'll give you a week. Next week, because next week we're out of time here because we're going too long. But next week I want a prediction. I want a yes or a no. Of course, there's a possibility for everything, but a yes or a no. Are they going to shut down the fairgrounds within 5 years or so? That's all. All right. What about these Oilers? Have they fit? You hinted at this last week because you're an anti-Oilers guy forever, but you said, man, they might have got some things. They might have gotten some things straight in the in the net there, and man, they disposed of the Vegas Knights pretty damn easily, huh? The only game they lost was at the end.
They destroyed them, and let me tell you, the only game that the Knights basically won was off a Draisaitl stick. So, the Vegas Golden Knights really have to start searching for a rebuild. There's nobody scoring goals on that team. And, Stuart Skinner, he's an average goaltender, but when he shuts you down for like 7 periods, you got some soul searching to do. Yes, Edmonton did figure some things out. It actually worked in their favor again because Picard went down, and similar to last year, now Skinner is back in between the pipes and taking control of this team and looked really good. So maybe you have to bench this guy in the first couple of series of the playoffs, bring him back, and he's rejuvenated, and it lights a fire. But they look great, I tell you. Draisaitl, unbelievable. McDavid, best player on the planet. I discredited Edmonton for years, but they're playing good now.
10 seconds. Carolina, Washington, Dallas, or Winnipeg?
Carolina and Dallas.
There we go. Great stuff, Colucci. We appreciate the intel. We'll continue this next week. Follow Dwayne on Twitter at NYBookieDwayne. Give that man his horn. Yes, indeed. We'll talk about our friends at Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Love you too, boy. And if you're in the Homeowners Association, requires wood windows like mine does, you got to call Relief Windows. Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. So, man, they do a great job. And it's a great blend of aesthetic. They look really good. They function, but also they're durable, which is highly important. We keep replacing these windows every 8 to 10 years. Relief Windows, 288-8138, and ReliefWindows.com.
Live at Sammy's, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny. Live from Sammy's Grill on Old Perkins near Airline Highway in Prairieville. On 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Leaders of the PGA Championship, Steven Yeager and Ryan Gerard at 5 under, still on the golf course. 3 golfers in at 4 under, Luke Donald, Ryan Fox, and Alex Smalley. Sam Burns, who got off to a good start and got to 3 under par, 3 consecutive bogeys, and another bogey after that, is now +1 for the tournament. He's still got 6 holes to go on the back 9. Live at the Prairieville Sammys, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny. Live from Sammy's Grill on Old Perkins near Airline Highway in Prairieville. On 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
And we're back here at Sammy's. Come on by and see us here for lunch. We're in the bar area just off of Airline Highway here in Prairieville. The NFL schedule came out officially last night. And, Jimmy, I have good news for you.
What?
You ready for this? After the sequencing and everything.
I got good news for you, too.
Okay. Well, here's the good news for you. In 17 games, with the order that they are in, the home and away, the New Orleans Saints will be favored in exactly 1 game next season. Vegas thinks that they're going 1-16.
Oh, no, that's not how that works.
I know that's not how it works. But they're going to be, I understand. But they are an underdog. They're an underdog in 16 out
Favored at home against Carolina, and that's it?
No, you got...
Really? Underdog at home against Carolina?
Underdog at home against Carolina by a point and a half. This is DraftKings odds. You got to think lower. They are also an underdog at home against the Giants, which was kind of the one I had.
Giants are improved.
They're +1.5 against the Giants. Dig deeper. Who else is on the schedule that really, really stinks? The Titans had the first pick in the draft, but they're at the Titans, so that one's off the board. No. You got to go to the other team in New York.
Jets.
Gangrene. The Jets in Week 16, the Saints would be a 1.5 point favorite. Now, all of this is, months before the season starts, but they are an underdog in every game. They are the biggest underdog in the game at Buffalo, which is in Week 4. They are +12.5. I'll make that prediction right now that that game will go off better than 2 touchdowns unless we see something go just.
Who's that?
At Buffalo. In Week 4. Yeah. Can't imagine, unless they just come out of the gate like gangbusters or the Bills had a major injury. I think that game will go for 2 touchdowns.
That's the only thing. Him being hurt, keep that thing single digits.
The other games that they are the biggest underdogs, they are +9.5 at the Rams. They are +9.5 at the Bucks. They are +7 at home against the 49ers. That's in Week 2. They are +7.5 at Chicago in Week 7. That's Dennis Allen, now the defensive coordinator there. So those are the games where you are at least a touchdown underdog in 4 games out of the 17. You're an underdog in 16 out of 17 overall. Open with the Cardinals at home, Niners at home. You got a coast-to-coast trip in weeks 3 and 4, where you go. Where you go to the Seahawks, and then you are at the Bills, and you got. There was a potential cold weather game in there that I'm looking at. The Bears in October. That's okay. Oh, at the Titans in Week 17, where it is usually pretty chilly. And Max, the rest quotient ain't great. On this, you buy into this statistic? This is travel and rest that came up.
Well, it absolutely came in last year. It was very important last year. If you looked at the rest differential, the teams that had the worst rest day differential, so that means short rest. If you got to play Monday, you got to play the next Sunday. You're off a shorter rest than say your opponent, who might be coming off of a Thursday game or a bye week or something. Last year, the worst teams in terms of rest day differential were the 49ers, the Colts, and the Seahawks. Those teams underperformed, I would say, expectations last year.
All 3 went under, huh? Their win total?
I believe so. Mm-hmm. If you look at the teams with favorable rest differentials last year, they were the Ravens, the Eagles, and the Vikings. Those teams very much did well. So rest day differential absolutely matters, and this year the Saints
What did last year? We got We got 40 years of this, or
there is some long-term stuff. I'd have to go back and look.
But last year it did.
Absolutely, it mattered last year. The Saints have the second worst rest differential in the NFL this year behind the Raiders. They lose 15 days to their opponents in terms of rest. So they are right there down with the Bills. The Commanders also got a bit of a tough draw in terms of rest. When you look at favorables, it's the Eagles, the Rams, and the Dolphins. But the Saints are going to have less rest. They play on a Sunday every day. They play in no primetime games, so you'd have to think that means some teams are going to come off some Thursday games, some bye weeks going into New Orleans, and so that's an unfavorable draw for them. They also have the third hardest opening month in September. Weeks 1 through 4, they have the third hardest schedule based on opposing win projected totals.
I told you yesterday there's always three things I look for in the schedules. This doesn't really apply to the Saints as much this year. But number one, it's where your Thursday night game is. Well, they don't have a Thursday night game, so that's off the board. Second one is, do you have your bye week in the middle? Yeah, that's fine. And the third one is, do you ever have 3 straight road games? They do not. And so all of that's fine.
They don't have a Thursday night game. I thought everybody had one.
I did too. I thought you were guaranteed at least one Thursday night game. I found out.
We always talked about that was a big deal if you got it home or away, because the visiting team is,
and the week before,
that we have a sample size on that. They're at a disadvantage.
I did too. Apparently that rule is no more. So
that's how bad they are. They wouldn't even let them play a standalone Thursday night game.
That's
Amazon
correct.
Prime.
They are that bad because they don't. They have no quarterbacks. I'm going to say this 100 times this summer. You're going to get sick of me hearing it. They have no quarterbacks on the roster that have won an NFL game. Nor do I think they need to go out and sign one.
Well, historically, and you got to make the comparison.
Yeah, you go back to the 2001 Carolina Panthers, was it, or the 2000?
Okay.
And that was the Chris Winkie team. And
Chris Winkie, old guy,
older quarterback as a rookie that they trusted to start.
Drafted second round,
fourth.
Fourth?
I believe it's fourth round.
Yeah. Whedon was an older quarterback, went in the first round to the Browns.
Late first round, right?
Late first round. This is what rebuilding looks like, okay? The Saints don't have to there's some people who want to say, the Saints need to come out and say they're rebuilding. The Saints don't have to say anything, okay? Show me what you're doing.
No, they don't have to say anything.
In fact,
they've done a lot of moves without explaining.
Don't say anything. This is what rebuilding looks like. Rebuilding looks like going with young quarterbacks that are completely unproven and seeing what you have. They may all be terrible. One of them may emerge. We'll see. Okay, that means you get no respect from odds makers. You get no respect from schedule makers. You get no respect from pretty much anybody in the league until you've done it as a quarterback. You don't go out and sign a boatload of free agents, and you certainly don't sign any that are older. Justin Reed's, in his late 20s, but Chase Young's a 25-year-old pass rusher. You don't spend a bunch of money there. You don't trade up in the draft unless it's for a quarterback. Okay? You take all your draft picks. You don't give away draft picks. You change your coach. Okay? And they've done all of that. Okay? They are in a rebuilding mode. Call it whatever you want. Call it a bagel. But that's what it is. And with that comes the lowest win total in the league, the longest odds to win the Super Bowl, no primetime games. I'm fine with all that, okay? That's all cosmetic stuff. Build a winner. Now, can all of these guys play that they're bringing in the draft? I don't know. Can any of the quarterbacks play? I don't know. I'm anxious to see. I'm curious at least. But this is so much better. The Carr retirement is such a reset. Maybe they didn't want it. They've been forced into it, but that's what it is. The boat anchor is off the salary cap after next year. The veterans' contracts scroll off, and for the moment, they're not doing any of these ridiculous reconfigures that keep older players on the roster longer than they have to be, or you're paying for them longer. A lot of that stuff, not all of it, but a lot of it is going to scroll off next year. This is the byproduct of that. These 17 games could virtually be in any order. I don't care.
Charlie, and listen, rebuild also. I just want to clarify about a conversation yesterday. I mean, was rebuilding last year with New England? They brought in a young quarterback, a rookie quarterback.
Yes.
They didn't win in many games.
No.
They still drafted where?
Fourth? Fourth, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, so you might not go 1-16 and get the first pick.
Yeah.
But you can Tyler, are you expecting them to have a comparable year to Drake May? I think that's ambitious. Okay.
Yeah.
But he can have not a pathetic year and them still going 3-14.
That's optimum. Okay, that's me waking up tomorrow, winning the lottery, not paying taxes, and being 30 years younger. Okay, yes, that's the utopia. Okay, the quarterback can actually play, but the record still stinks. Yeah.
Now I'll give you another. Because I don't know. I'm just in a peaceful mode. Minnesota minus 10.5 and all the middle. So anyway, I don't think there's I think a little bit, but I don't think there's a gap. I don't think Shug's going to be that great. Okay, just say that. I just don't. I don't think there's as big of a gap as maybe as perceived between Jackson Dart and Tyler Shug.
Okay, yeah, you're not wild about either one of them.
No, I don't think Dart. I think he's going to be very mediocre.
Do you think he starts this year at some point?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I think he's going to start more games than Shug, and Shug will start the first game.
You think Dart's going to start more games than Shug?
Shug's played the most games ever in his career, 7.
But the Giants have Russell Wilson.
What's that?
The Giants have Russell
Wilson. They're going to start off with him.
Yeah, and you think okay?
Yeah,
because I think if Shug is healthy, he plays.
Oh, he's going to be able to lead
the whole way. Okay.
Keith Mitchell's a leader every
okay.
At Thursday. All right. I mean,
right.
Okay, this is like Keith Mitchell in the first round. I'll take Russell Wilson, a first round leader, but I'm not betting him to win the whole thing. I'm going to say I think. Oh, there's going to be. They think Jackson Dart is the savior. And Wilson will go there, and they're going to be better. You can't get a guy like Abdul Carter and not be better. They got a little bit.
That helps.
They're going to be better.
And Max makes a point about Shug's injuries. They've been broken bones, which is a lot different than a chronic knee or shoulder or elbow or something like that, or concussions. Broken bones heal, and most of the times they're freak injuries. They're not because you weren't in shape. They're not because you're not good enough. Broken bones happen.
Predicting injuries is very dangerous territory. I get that, but
they happen. So
and
he
broke
the collarbone
twice. When you're a guy that much older than everybody at the college level, you look better. So Brandon Whedon was really good as in his mid-20s.
That's fair.
Okay, so he got overdrafted, did he not?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, Chris Weinke was older than everybody else. Yeah. So he was really good enough. We know the Heisman. We know about that. But he was the quarterback on the best team.
Right.
Was it now going into the
that Florida State team?
And so did he get overdrafted? Even the 4th round, I guess maybe but he was still a starting quarterback, and so you should be better if you're in your mid-20s than Shug was.
Yeah.
I don't think that's being so hateful and negative and that's just damn.
To me, the thing with Shug
I'm basing it on previous situations.
The thing with Shug is this is exactly what I want the Saints to do.
Now,
an attainable quarterback where you didn't have to trade. If they'd have traded up for Jackson Dart, I'd have been like, man, okay. They took a quarterback with a pick that they had that has some potential. If he works out, great. If he doesn't, then next year you have all your draft capital, that you can trade.
How many college starts does he have,
heavy
Max?
It's 33, I think.
Well, it's kind of important.
I think it's 33.
Haven't we seen
quarterbacks
quarterbacks with
we looked at that number when we were doing draft stuff. 33 is what sticks in my head.
Which is okay. It's like 2 years.
Yeah, it's exactly 2.
No, more. I'm thinking, geez.
2+ years.
2.5. That's good. 30+ starts is okay.
We'll look. And look, just because I said I didn't want to go 1-16, if they get to the end of October and they're 1-7 and have looked terrible doing it, I'll be like, okay, well, then that's it. But my thing yesterday was just let me see a little bit before I decide that he can't play at all.
I hope he's Joe Montana.
I do too. Okay. But it's unlikely that he's Joe Montana.
I hope Mickey Loomis turns into Howie Roseman.
If he was Joe Flacco, we'd be in better shape.
I'm just going to maintain, and if you want to label me as negative, fine. Okay, I'm negative about the Saints moving forward as long as Mickey Loomis is involved in a impactful position.
And I have,
damn it,
I'm the king of that program. I've got that, but I have to be fair with what he's done since the end of the season. What he's done since the end of the season does signify a reset. They fired the coach. They redid all of that. They got the quarterback off, lucky or whatever, but they got the quarterback off the roster.
Want to fire the coach?
Well, he had to. Like I said, some of this stuff may be in spite of Mickey, but it's happening, okay? They fired the coach, whether he wanted to or not. The quarterback's gone, whether he wanted him to or not. They didn't restructure these contracts that put them in a bind in 27 whether he wanted to or not. They kept all the draft picks whether he wanted to or not. Well, these are the things that we wanted them to do.
Your theme of this segment is this is what a rebuild looks like?
Yeah.
Middle of the season, I'm going to show you what a rebuild looks like on the field at 1-7.
Okay. And if they're 1-7, you'll say, okay, well, then Shug's
and
not
Charlie, 1-7 is a better path than 2-5 or 3-4.
Yeah, if they're that bad,
it's not just the first pick. It's draft cap.
And not all 1-7s are the same either.
The new Mickey era, did they actually value draft capital? This draft?
In this one, they did. Yeah.
Well, okay.
I mean, maybe somebody made him
let's
do
get
that.
some more because you ain't winning anything this year. Okay. You're not winning a thing this year.
You're not, and I don't expect them to. Okay, I would tell you that if they miraculously won 6 or 7 games and Shug looked good doing it, you'd say, okay, well, it's because these guys came on. No, 3-14 with the. Let's take the quarterback out of it for a second. Let's say that Kelvin Banks goes in there and looks like an all-pro lineman, okay, or it has an all-rookie type season. Well, that's good. What if 3 or 4 of these other rookies that they get in the draft end up becoming starters? Okay, that's ambitious. Maybe 2 or 3. Well, that's good. What if it turns out that Chase Young really becomes the player that everybody thought he was when he was drafted number 2? Well, that would be
You've
good.
seen enough of Chase Young. You know what you're going to get. You're going to get flashes.
You're right.
You're not going to get consistency.
What if moving Penning inside rejuvenates his career as a guard, okay, which is where he should have been last season? Well, that would be good. What if one of these undrafted free agents becomes the next Raheed Shaheed? Okay, I'm just saying that there are different ways you can lose games and see some light at the end of the tunnel.
6.5 is the over/under. 6
for the Saints.
Yeah,
I'll take under.
I'd take under. They are second choice to have the fewest wins. Cleveland Browns.
Their win total is 5.5. I know that for a fact.
Well, they're in a tougher division, obviously.
Yeah.
But damn, I mean, and the Saints too. I think the schedule. I think that's absolute. Saints. Cleveland plus 475. Saints plus 500. Giants third choice to have the fewest wins plus 650. How about that? Giants third choice. Jets fourth choice plus 650 and plus 850. So none of those teams are going to be on prime time this year, huh? Jets, Giants.
The Jets and the Giants will be on prime time.
Cleveland too.
Yeah.
Cleveland's got none.
They got none.
So
even?
Cleveland,
and
Tennessee,
the Saints.
and the Saints.
Zippola.
I'm a little surprised Cam Ward.
I thought that they would put
not
Cam Ward on for one
for
Thursday night. I'm surprised that the Saints win total is that much less than Cleveland and the New York Giants, because those two teams have veteran quarterbacks. Joe Flacco and Russell Wilson are better than Tyler Shugg right now. They're more proven than Tyler Shugg right now, even at this point in their careers.
Under 6.5 is juiced. Okay. Pretty good too.
Yeah.
Yeah, like minus 80. So, but
can I just throw one bone to the
you could throw all
Tyler
bones
Shugg fans out there? I know we mentioned earlier the rest differential, also the bad start to the season, which is not great for a rookie quarterback likely to be starting the season against a very tough schedule, right? You're facing a gauntlet at the very beginning. They have the third hardest schedule in the first month of the season. But they do finish in weeks 12 to 18, that's after their bye week, with the third easiest schedule in the NFL. And also worth mentioning, when you look at the road teams, when do you face the cold weather teams? They get Buffalo, Seattle, and Chicago all before the middle of October. Their run of the last few games, their last 4 bye weeks, or their last 4 road games are in Miami, Tampa, Tennessee, and Atlanta. So their coldest game this year may very well be in Nashville.
That's good.
That's favorable if you're a Tyler Shugg believer and you think this team's going to the Super Bowl.
Well, Shugg's already got caught. He says the right things. It took him, to be drafted? Like 2 hours to figure out how to handle himself with the media better.
Well, and he showed up, and he had the receivers out working out at the Tulane practice facility.
One thing about him, too, he got some skill. Wife, man. She's a prize, bro.
I didn't.
I'm sorry. I didn't
see the picture.
The dog looks good. The wife looks good. He's picked out the whole place in Old Metairie already. Shoot, He got something figured out.
He's already run through a pothole and busted a tire in New Orleans. He's a resident. Yeah.
He's looking into the new development by Churchill Downs to the fairgrounds.
Maybe he'll be an investor.
United Community Bank, the local way to bank big with locations from Baton Rouge to Golden Meadow. We've been serving the people of Southern Louisiana for over 50 years, including our newest branch at Bluebonnet and Burbank. A great team of bankers at United Community Bank. Prentice Wilkes, Heath Meir, Nicole Glover, Hunter Creed, David Campbell, David Henry, our great team of bankers at United Community Bank. United Community Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Live at Sammy's in Prairieville, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny. Live from Sammy's Grill on Old Perkins near Airline Highway in Prairieville. On 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
And we return here. Remind you that at the Thibodeau store, we're looking towards Father's Day a little bit. You want to talk about a great, I know we got about a month, but you're looking ahead towards, of course, we told you about the Cypress furniture that you can get for Mother's Day, all of the things. Of course, you can get those for Dad, too. The Cypress benches, the Cypress swings, gliders, all of the chairs, you can get them there. But a ton of grills. Get Dad a grill for Father's Day. Lots of them on the website right now at doitbest.com/Thibodeau store. You can go in and get him a big green egg cooker. Jimmy loves his, all the accessories.
I was on it last night, Charlie.
If he's already got one, maybe get him some of the accessories.
Shoot, man, got so much white smoke coming, looks like the Vatican in the backyard, man. Yes, indeed. So it's not just the grills, but any type of outdoor cooking needs. The McWare cookware is, it's top quality. Cajun cookware. They got all kinds of selection of that. Cajun classic cast iron cookware. All kinds of there. I love my cast iron oyster grilled, plate they have. They've got the outdoor burners, single burners, double burners, triple burners to knock out your outdoor cooking, your on-site cooking, tailgating, whatever. Fleur de lis. Outdoor pots, for your boils. 60 quart, 80 quart, 100, 120 quart, 160 quart. So, of all sizes. You got oilless turkey fryers that are great, man. You talk about all the different boil gear, whether you want the strainer that you pull up, you got the nozzle at the bottom of your pot, different burners and rigs, all that good stuff. So high performance stuff to kind of heat up really, really fast. It is... gadgets and, different scoops and spoons and just a roux spoon, Charlie. You name it, it's got everything. The electric, igniter for your coals, so you don't have to sit there just with a match and things like. You name it, bro. It got it over there. If for an outdoor cook like myself, it is a must. It's a little slice of heaven. It's awesome.
If Dad's a fisherman, tons of fishing gear as well. 900 St. Patrick Highway in Thibodeau and online doitbest.com/Thibodeau store. Max, what's going on at Quail Hollow? Sam Burns, after it was 3 under par, now 5 bogeys since then. To drop back.
He was 3 under?
He was 3 under at one point, yeah. He was 3 under through the first 6 holes.
Great start, but he's going backwards. He's stuck in reverse right now. Ryan Gerard has the solo lead right now after Steven Yeager has dropped a shot at least, it looks like, on the very last hole of the day for him. I think he's going to be in the clubhouse at 4 under. So Ryan Gerard, your solo leader, at 5 under. How about this group at 4 under, though? Luke Donald, who's played in 5 events between the DP World Tour and the PGA Tour this year. He is the European Ryder Cup captain this year after winning it a couple of years ago. He missed the cut in all 5 events he's played this year. He's 4 under, tied for second after today. Not a long hitter, but putted the lights out today. Ryan Fox also won in the alternate field event last week, the Puerto Rico Open. He picks up right where he left off. He's 4 under par, 1 back of the lead. And Alex Smalley, who was the last player in the field, got in because Sahith Theegala withdrew with a neck injury yesterday. He was the last one in the field, and he is tied for second at 4 under par. So that's your group up at the top. The big group of top 3 players in the world, Schauffele, Rory, Scheffler, they have struggled much of the day. They all 3 double bogeyed the 16th hole. Rory McIlroy has really struggled with his driver, especially today. So he is a ways back. He is 2 over on the last hole of the day. Scotty Scheffler, the best of the pairing. He's 1 under on the last as well. And then Xander Schauffele, your defending champion, is 1 over par.
Didn't you say Luke Donald is the European Ryder Cup captain at 4 under par?
He sure is.
Isn't Keegan Bradley the American captain?
He's right there. He just joined him at 4 under par.
He's still on the golf course. He's got, 2 holes left?
2 holes to go. Interesting how the PGA of America runs the U.S. Ryder Cup captaincy, or runs the team. And interesting who they always choose to pair the Ryder Cup captain with somebody who's of interest. They paired him with Andrew Novak, and I believe it was maybe Maverick McNeely, but a couple of guys who are right there on that fringe right now, on the outside looking in of a potential Ryder Cup team.
All right, any quality on the board with these? Do you go to Rory now? I mean, you're looking to see as much as 25-1 right now.
I wouldn't do it. His driver's a little erratic. He hadn't played a whole lot. We didn't really see a whole lot good from him last week either. So I'm kind of off of Rory. Bryson yet to go off. What kind of odds are we looking at Bryson right now?
Just went to 9 from 8, anywhere from 650 to all the way to 9 at DraftKings outlets.
Yeah, I mean, you were getting 16-1 last week. We'll see if maybe he gets off to an early
yesterday
bogey.
it was 8-1 everywhere.
Correct, right. I think if he gets off to an early bogey or two, I would consider playing him at that price. If he drops to anything past 14-1, I think he's got a really good shot this week. I didn't play him, but any of the guys going off, I think they have a chance to maybe watch the TV coverage, see what holes are playing difficult, avoid the landmines on 16 and 18, make some birdies. There are some birdie holes out there, so there's a lot of variance in terms of this leaderboard. I think if you got a chance to watch that early on, I would look to play a Hovland, a Bryson, somebody who's going off in just a few minutes.
Where's JT? He's up to 18-1.
I would play him as well. I have him pre-tournament. He's even par. He parred the very first hole, which is a pretty difficult hole. So I would say he's ahead of schedule at the moment, just slightly. But Justin Thomas, I played him pre-tournament. I would absolutely consider him right now, considering where things stand.
Hovland's in that same group with Bryson DeChambeau. They go off here in about 20 minutes. Also, Patrick Reed, I believe one of our contributors had mentioned Patrick Reed.
Yeah, that was Wes.
He goes off. He's teeing off right now. He's in the group with Jordan Spieth and Ludwig Aberg. That's a pretty interesting group. They just teed off at number 1 at the PGA Championship at Quail Hollow. We are brought to you in part by Louisiana Health and Injury Centers. They're helping you deal with pain, man. If you got discomfort, if you had an old injury that's flaring up on you, an old sports injury, been in a car accident, let them help you out, man. I tell you what, when we were having back problems, they did such a good job easing that level of pain, get you into a program that's going to work for you no matter where your discomfort is. They'll tailor-make a program for you. They'll work you in. The exercise and stretching program did world good for me. A lot of it ended up being like prehab to keep from recurring things later on down the road. If you do need a dry needle, electric nerve stimulation, cryo, or ultrasound therapy, any of the other techniques that they use to get you to feeling better. Don't be restricted in your movements. Don't suffer through a long night where you're not getting a good night's sleep. Louisiana Health and Injury Centers, Dr. Michael Goff, Airline Highway, Plank Road, Jefferson Highway near Drusilla.
Max, real quick, doesn't look as wet as maybe we thought, huh?
The fairways are.
Okay.
It's still. What's interesting is there's a few mud balls. I'll give the PGA credit. I'm sure Scott would be very happy with this. Scott Rabelais. They are not playing lift clean place today. They're playing the ball down in the fairways, so there are going to be some mud balls today. You're going to see some weird shots, some funky shots that go out of nowhere. That's the players are going to have to deal with that a little bit this week. But it's going to dry up, and that's why I think the afternoon might have a slightly more advantageous day today.
Rabelais was banned from Quail Hollow the last time he went. They caught him out there with a water hose. He wanted the golf course to win. Live at Sammy's in Prairieville, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny. Live from Sammy's Grill on Old Perkins near Airline Highway in Prairieville on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Show's available on demand, 1045ESPN.com, LouisianaSports.net. And a Handycast up at YouTube right now, all about LSU baseball, which goes tonight at 6 o'clock on the SEC Network. And, of course, Eagle 98.1 against South Carolina. Not Kate Anderson tonight, but we'll see. Just my best guess at this, and I don't expect that he's going to say anything until he absolutely has to. I'm going to take a shot with Connor Ware here. I say that because on Sunday,
What do you mean a shot?
That I think he's going to start.
Okay.
Connor Ware only threw 10 pitches on Sunday. They got him out. I think he only faced one batter. It was one of those long at-bats. If you're not going to throw Anderson, you're not going to throw Ianson. Chase Shores, who has started a bunch of games this year, threw 60 pitches on Sunday. I don't think it's him. I know it's not Kason Evans because he threw 87 pitches on Sunday. I think that this game is going to be soaked up by some combination of Connor Ware, Jaden Newt, Cooper Williams, and then if they have a lead, Zach Cowan at the end. If not, probably some combination of Maverick Rizzi and it may be a Grant Fontenot or a Jacob Mayers. Depends on how the game goes. But it could be Newt. I'm going to say Ware. That's just my best guess. They're going to chop this game up and play to keep everybody on schedule and play to have the big pitching advantage in the second two games of the series. I'll tell you what I do like, though, Jimmy. I could look like a complete idiot with this pick, but I'm going to give it anyway. I like Texas A&M tonight. Coming off the most embarrassing.
It's a big dog. Georgia's $2.
Plus $1.50 coming back. Georgia is holding their ace, Brian Curley. A&M is not holding Ryan Prager. He's going to go tonight. Charlie Goldstein for Georgia, who is starting for them. ERA of 6.66. A whip of 1.68. 1.7 base runners per inning is quite a lot. 21 walks in 24 innings for Goldstein. Georgia cannot improve their RPI this weekend. They're number one in the country. They are, I would say, as close to a lock as anybody not named Texas for a top 8 national seed. Mm-hmm. Even if they were to get swept this weekend, I think that they're still a top 8 national seed. I mean, the RPI is not going to drop. Is not going to crater. They're already number one. Their strength of schedule is already number one. Their non-conference RPI has been locked in at 1 forever. They've got enough Q1 wins. They're playing for seeding in the SEC tournament, which means basically nothing to them. And A&M, to keep their season on life support, has got to win this game. They're throwing their ace. Georgia,
even though it might be too little, too late.
It might be. It might be, but just for one game.
No. I like it. I like it.
I think I'm going to take. Some A&M
plus 140 or 150, depending. Even at Bet Rivers, you get plus 55.
There you go. And like I said, the way A&M played last weekend, they got 4 hits the last 2 games. They're better than that. Okay, I mean, come on, they can't play much worse than that.
Hopefully they'll play up to the level of competition because they certainly did last week, or down to it.
Yeah, and they've done that before. They won the series against Tennessee. They won the series against LSU. They won the series against Arkansas. Yeah, I mean, and what do you think it's been like in College Station for those guys since Sunday? I mean, they've been just
ain't nobody around.
No,
everybody took finals, got the hell out of there.
Right, all of the students are gone, but anything they're hearing from anybody else, they just get me out of town, give me somewhere other than here, and let me go play baseball and try to redeem myself. It's a shot. It's a play. That's
I like it. I like it.
Take a little of that. Also, a little Ole Miss in a series that's important. To them, I think they're not going to host, but they're looking to get into the postseason with Ole Miss.
Ole Miss got some work to do.
I think they're in.
I like Auburn there, though. I think Auburn's better.
Auburn is a little bit better. Here's what I like.
I like what I saw at the guy that did throw instead of Dutton last week.
And Ole Miss is a 135 favorite in this game. Hunter Elliott, who's been their ace, we talked about him a lot. He is throwing for them. Sam Dutton will throw tomorrow. The guy that Auburn is throwing, Cam Tilley, has 24 walks in 37 innings. That's quite a lot. I don't like it as much as my other play with A&M, but I'll take Auburn tomorrow. Dutton on the bounce back. He hasn't pitched bad 2 games in a row all season. In fact, this was his worst SEC start by far last weekend against South Carolina. I'll look for him to bounce back against Riley Maddox. But I'll take Hunter Elliott for Ole Miss against Auburn tonight. One against the two.
Hunter Elliott is not the Hunter Elliott of 3 years ago.
No,
that's
he's
obvious.
Not.
He's kind of damaged goods, and
he's a 5-inning guy. He's gonna go 5 innings. He's gonna give up 2 or 3 runs. That's what he's done in just about every start.
The funny thing is his sort of power rating, according to the odds makers, might be just as high as it was 3 years ago, and there's no comparison because he was undervalued 3 years ago as a freshman. And because he classic case, guy mid-season or mid to latter part of the season was performing at a way higher level than what his overall resume was for that season. And that's not the case anymore. It's a shame, man. That guy was unbelievable.
The best game tonight is, if you're starting to look towards the postseason, if you don't pay much attention to college baseball or college baseball outside the SEC, the best game tonight is in the ACC. Florida State and North Carolina, who are both fighting for top 8 national seeds, and I think Florida State's in right now. They've got a slightly better conference record, are both throwing their aces. Jamie Arnold, who's probably the best pitcher not in the SEC in the country, top 10 pick in the June draft, is throwing tonight for them. North Carolina's throwing Jake Knapp. Both of them have ERAs in the low 2s. Both of them, Arnold's a big strikeout guy. Knapp not as much. The whips are both 1 or below, and there is a ton on the line as far as the ACC standings, as far as your postseason, your seeding, your top 8 national seed. They could both get one, but if only one does, the winner of this series is going to go a long way, and it's best on best tonight. So if you want to watch something outside the SEC tonight, Florida State, North Carolina. I don't have a pick on the game. I think it's a coin flip. Game's at Tallahassee, but that's the best one that I can
Who's coaching Florida State these days?
The guy from Notre Dame. Oh,
okay.
God, I'm blanking on his name right now. Oh, come on, Charlie. the guy they got from Notre Dame. Okay, he took over for No. He took over for Mike Martin Jr. I know this is my deal. Link Jarrett. You know, sometimes you just blank on a name.
Never.
Never.
Especially with age.
Right?
Never. Doesn't happen more often when you get older.
It gets so much better. Every now and then I'll just blank on Link Jarrett. He's done a great job there. They are back to, what they were. Mike Martin Jr. just didn't work out. Trying to follow his dad.
But hey, look, Mike Martin. And part of that is, man, you earn it. I mean, the greatest coach in the history of your program. Not even close. I mean, okay. Who should get it? This guy.
Yeah.
I mean, Krzyzewski's good, as good of a career as he had.
Right.
I mean, I think his handpicked guy's working out pretty good. I know it was a disappointing loss in the Final Four this year, especially with the lead. But I mean, come on, man. I'm impressed.
I thought Shai's done fine for the pressure he's under to follow the guy like that.
Pressure and resources that come hand in hand. But yeah, following K, I think he's. And he has a
Does he look over his skis?
Not at all.
That's what I say too.
Not at all.
And sometimes you get in that.
Not at all.
The pressure gets to you, and it hasn't with him.
He's not a perfect coach, okay, and he's still learning, and he's going to be better 5 years from now than what he is right now. But I thought, and they couldn't inbound the ball. One of my pet peeve. And cost them a game. And maybe a championship, but. I also saw them do some things that he was coaching. He completely coached the pants off of Nate Oates. I mean, in that regional final. I mean, I saw, it's sometimes you can have the best roster and just roll the ball out there. They didn't just roll the ball out there. I saw some solid coaching by him this past year.
We're brought to you by Coastal Capital Advisors, because when it comes to retirement, no two situations are alike. Let Coastal Capital Advisors tailor a plan for your family's needs. Doesn't matter what your age is, doesn't matter what your financial situation is. They'll make a plan that makes sense for you. They'll work with you. They'll build a lifetime relationship. That's what they've done with me. I recommend calling Phil Fontenot and his staff, 337-981-1376. Online is coastalcapitaladv.com. Advisory services provided by New Age Advisors, member FINRA SIPC. Back to finish things up here at Sammy's in Prairie.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny. Live from Sammy's Grill on Old Perkins near Airline Highway in Prairieville. On 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Fun to close out the Nuggets tonight on the road. What do you think?
No, I think the Nuggets going to hold.
Then you got to love getting 4.5 points. If you like the Nuggets to win it.
Yeah, I like the Nuggets plus the points, yeah.
Okay, that is the lone NBA game tonight. Ton of great college action tonight. If you only got SEC Plus, ESPN Plus, the Florida State North Carolina game. You know what else I like about that Florida State North Carolina game? It's the pitching matchup is one of those great. Both of them have great numbers. Great prospect versus just great college pitcher. Arnold's a draft-eligible junior. It'd be a top 10 pick. Jake Knapp, graduate student, but he's having a great college year. You know, sometimes we see those things. Guys that are just great college pitchers are not huge prospects. That's what you got tonight with Florida State and North Carolina.
I'll take that guy all day, man. I'll take them great college players. Absolutely.
Yeah, he's had a fantastic 71 innings.
Arnold's still pitching from Florida State. Damn.
Yeah, just
like junior. 2 years ago he was the ACC Pitcher of the Year, huh?
I think he was.
Even with the kid from right there with the kid from Wake Forest.
Well, he wasn't the Pitcher of the Year 2 years ago because that was Skeens, but
no. ACC.
ACC. Skeens
pitched in the SEC.
Yeah. I think that's
over the kid from Wake Forest that Skeens beat.
Oh, Louder. No, he wouldn't have been the Player of the Year over Louder.
I think he might have been, Charlie.
Might have been all conference. I gotta look.
No, I mean, I'll check it out.
Yeah, check it out. PGA Championship. Ryan Gerard, 7 under, just eagled. Well, he's blistering the back nine. Huh, Max? 4 straight birdies to still open the back nine, then a par, then an eagle at 15.
Yeah, chipped in for eagle on the par 5, 15th. Interesting. There's a couple stretches where there's back-to-back holes that are gettable. 7 and 8 are. You have a 7 as a par 5. It's very gettable, and 2 for these guys. 8 is a reachable or almost reachable par 4. The same, but flipped on 14 and 15, where you have a very gettable par 4, drivable for pretty much the whole field, and then a reachable and 2 par 5 on the 15th. So those are the 2 like birdie clusters that you can get in a round. And then there's a whole bunch of like survive and advance the rest of the way.
Yeah.
There's been a couple rounds that have come in. Robert McIntyre, certainly one of them, who's birdied those holes and pretty much just stayed alive on the rest of them. That's kind of what you're looking for as a golfer that's in control of his game. Those are the chances to actually make some scoring happen.
Scotty Scheffler birdied 2 of the last 3 holes. He finishes at 2 under, 69 for the day. And the group teeing off right now, just a couple of minutes ago, that includes Bryson DeChambeau and Victor Hovland, is one that we're watching, as some of our contributors have put that on their list.
Louder was though he was a Pitcher of the Year in 23. Arnold this year is preseason got the most votes, but Arnold was also at various times Pitcher of the Week in ACC for the last 3 years, but he was also a Golden Spikes semifinalist last year.
Yep. Thanks to the folks here at Sammy's. Always love coming here.
The menu's great, healthy, generous portions, down-hole field. You know what you get with Sammy's, man. Great food, plenty of it, cold beer, and great service.
And crawfish all the way through Father's Day here on Perkins Road near Airline in Prairieville. Tomorrow we're at Rufino's to wrap up the week. For Max and Jimmy, Jordan back in the studio. Charles Hannegrove saying thank you and good afternoon. Stay tuned for Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.